Well, hello everyone. You have right here. I'm talking about right here of with this duck painting right here, and you see this right here that I went ahead and illustrated right here is this duck picture right here, but you see right here is whenever it comes to painting a picture of the duck right here that if it's going to be swimming in the ponds or maybe if it's going to be a lake and all that, and like everybody probably thinking too that yeah, you go ahead and paint a picture of the ducky right there, and thinking as toward okay, yeah, that you're going to go ahead and paint the ducky right here, but it's like yeah. So how many of us are maybe going to maybe think about is that you'll go ahead and picture a duck right here, but then how many of us are really going to think about adding any sorts of words, to like a story or something like that, like a little ducky or something like that is swimming or something like that. And but I'll go ahead and paint right here as an example right here of the sky right here. And like everybody will probably think of that, yeah, well, for sure, if you're going to go ahead and paint a picture of a duck right here, that you go ahead and paint in the details right here of like, you have there is a duck right there with the wings and all that, but still, I'll go ahead and paint right here as an example right here of the cloud. I'm like, yeah, the sky right here, and I can go ahead and paint some clouds right there. But it's like, yeah, so whenever you're thinking about the duck a lot of times in 102 that, okay, yeah, that you go ahead and paint the duck, but what exactly is the duck doing? And you're thinking, okay, yeah, the duck. Is the duck swimming or is it the duck, is the duck just hanging around or something like that or, something like that? And so I'll just go ahead and paint some clouds right here. And it's like everybody might even think too that, you're going to be looking at the duck, just like that. And at 102 that, okay, yeah, that you're going to be looking at the duck just like that, but still, that, the way I painted this right here, that, yeah, I got the cloud right there, and I can go and add another cloud just right over here, but still, that, when we do speak about ducks a lot of times, people might say, yeah, what about the ducks? And, so I was just thinking too that, yeah, go ahead and paint the duck right there, but I was also thinking too that, if I wanted to go ahead and add it right here, go ahead and add a so-called, saying is toward it whenever it comes to, yeah, right here is a duck right here, and the duck, swimming duck or something like that, or if it's like everybody might say that if you're going to be go ahead and add the story about the duck right here. So if I were to say that, story. So if I were to put that right there, and let's just say that everybody might think that, okay, yeah, that you put the story of the little duck right there, but you're 102 that, well, what about the story about the little duck right there? So it sure seems that way that that when we do speak about that ducks a lot of times, I'll go ahead and put that in the lighter, with the darker color right there, so we can all see that right there. But I have right there of talk about the ducks right there, and so I'll go ahead and type right there the story about the little duck. What about the story about the little duck? Well, the duck that. The duck with its happy little feet. There ain't really no period that really needs to go there, but still. So if you were to actually write that, and like everybody might say that, yeah, if you want to kind of call it maybe just a little bit of an adjective or something like that, like I really don't know how, really how it all begins whenever it comes to that whenever you're going to be drawing a picture of the duck right there and 102 that you go ahead and like everybody might say, if you're going to be talking a story about the duck right there, that how many times are you going to maybe think that you want to go ahead and start out with a story first, and then you go ahead and draw the picture or something like that? Like anybody might say that, yeah, you would maybe prefer to go ahead and start out with a little paragraph sentence of talk about the little duck or something like that, and then you go ahead and paint a picture of the duck, and how many of us are really going to say that, yeah, you go ahead and start out with the black and white image of the duck first, before you actually start putting in a few colors in. So let's just say that any parent might even say that they would prefer it that way actually. That if they want to give their kids a little activity to do, for sure that this is what they're going to do right here. Is they're going to go ahead and say that yeah, it's like a little black and white image right here of the duck right there, and 102 yeah. So you go ahead and yeah. So people might say that if it's supposed to be like an activity or something like that you're working on, and 102 that okay, yeah, that you go ahead and add all white right here, and so that way that anybody who's looking at that and 102 that hey, that you put all white right there, but then how many young ones are maybe going to say that, you see all white right there. And really, what does all white pretty much mean right there whenever it comes to coloring the duck right there? I'm like, well, really, that whenever you look at that in a lot of ways, I'll even tell everybody that yeah, you put all white right there, but then, of course, if you add a little bit of black right there, the black right there shows a little bit more of the feathers. So I have right here, draw the outline right there of the duck right there, and then you have the outline right there of the duck. And so what exactly is it that you're doing whenever you do that? And tell everybody that you're showing the outline of the duck right there, of the feathers of the duck, but still that whenever it comes to painting the duck right there, and 102 that you're painting in the feathers, right? But still, the feathers come in different shapes and sizes or so, but, still, that, so, like, let's just say that if you're trying to paint the duck right there, and 102 that you go ahead and paint, use the white, the black and white right here, but, if you're trying to show somebody something, let's just say that if you're trying to show somebody an example of like a little activity, coloring or something like that. And so if I were to actually use that right there, for like the wings right there, and people might say to you, yeah, with the feathers though, but don't you think that most of the time with most birds that they would have feathers to where that yeah, if I were to actually change the shape up just a little bit right here, the shape, the size right there, and put like these feathers right here, and 102 that okay, yeah, you go ahead and paint in some feathers right there, but it's like you're warned to where that okay, yeah, so you paint in the feathers right there, but still that yeah. So you go and paint it using a different color, by the way. So it's like that whenever you first start working on this, that you painted right here is with white right here. You paint a white along with a blend of blue right here. But how many kids are maybe going to 102 that yeah, that whenever you look at the drawing like that, with the feet right there, you got the fish right there, but still, whenever you do look at that, by the way, and you're 102 that yeah, that does the white pretty much mean is to where you go ahead and pick a color, choose a color of your choice, and you can go and color in the rest of the duck right there. So like, let's just say if this was an activity, a book or something like that, like to where that if you see anywhere where you see white right there, then they say is to where that's usually the spot. That would usually be the spot where you'd be asked to go ahead and add any colors, colors of your choice right there. And so I'll go ahead and use right here a little bit darker, yeah, blue, but still that orange right there, but just add in the details right there of the feathers. And so everybody say that, yeah, you're just painting, the feathers right there, but I, on the other hand, that if you go ahead and paint, a little bit of the feathers, like everybody say, yeah, like, the feathers are supposed to be like, yeah, you're just painting them like dots or so, but still, if you're trying to paint in a little bit of the feathers right there for the wings right there, and want to know too that if it's really about the color, but like everybody might say that, yeah, if you're trying to paint the feathers on a duck for sure, that they're like, for which you can use, but still. But I have right there with the duck right there, and so I have right there with the feathers right there. But then also I'll go ahead and use right here is the yellow right here. So if I were to go ahead and use a little bit of yellow right there, the paint right there for the duck right there. So it's like, yeah, paint over those feathers. But still, I'll go ahead and paint right there, the duck right there, and then you have right here with the water. And so one thing that I want to show everybody here is how to be able to paint the scene of an underwater scene right here. Like you got the fish right here. You got the fish right here, but then also that you got the feet right there of the duck. And so how many of us are really going to think that, whenever you're going to be telling a story about the duck's feet right here, and 102 that you look at pictures of the duck right there, but then also you see the feet right here. And anybody say that the flobbly feet or something like that, or maybe if it's the feet that are moving or something like that, and the flobbly feet right here. So whenever you see that right there, and I'll go ahead and paint right here with the beak right here, but you're looking at that duck right there, and people might even think too that you got the duck right there, and want to know that that you would include a story right here, or talk about the little duck and its little feet right there, and so really that you go ahead and paint right there. I'm like, yeah, I'll go ahead and add a little bit of detail right there for the water right there, but still. Anybody say that, does it really have to be blue? I'm like, I can go ahead and add a little bit and a little bit of detail right there for the water right there, but still, that whenever you're going to be coloring the details of the water right there, one thing that I would maybe recommend to be able to use, of course, is just a little bit of blend of a gray right here. I might go, yeah, go ahead, maybe change that up just a little bit more, but still, just maybe a little bit of gray right there, and yeah, usually a cast shadow or something like that, but still, I'll go ahead and add right here. That right there is supposed to be a wave of water right there. Wave of water, and you want to go ahead and make that darker? Yeah, I can make that darker just to make it look like if it's actually underwater. So anybody might even say too that if you're going to be writing a story talking about a duck in the water or so, and you're warned to where that, okay, yeah, that do you prefer drawing a picture first before you actually tell the story? And any young kids might even say that do you prefer to go ahead and paint the picture right there? And so that you got right there is the duck in the water right there, and if you want to go ahead and add a little bit of lighter blue to that, and any source of transparency, right? So yeah, so you got right there, water right there, and then if you want to add a little bit right there. But I got the water right there, and I can go ahead and paint a little bit more right there of the sky. But it's like, yeah, so whenever you do think about that, and you're warned to where that you paint a picture of a duck right here, and you know, how many of us would take the time to go ahead and maybe add a little scenery right there of like, you know, where do you think the duck is, and maybe what do you think the duck is doing? But try to tell, you know, with the water. Yeah, ponds and lakes and all that. But so where exactly do you think that the ducky would be? You know, if we're going to be looking at it that way, I'm like, yeah, make the sky just a little bit darker. So yeah, you got the water right there, and then you got the water right there. But like everybody might say that you know, you go ahead and paint the duck right here, but this portion right here looks like it's underwater. So if you want to go ahead and paint a little bit of detail right there of what it would look like, you know, yeah, with the fish right there, underwater, and maybe add maybe a few bubbles or something like that. Like, so I add in right there is a fish right there, but all right, yeah. If you want to go ahead and paint a little bit of detail right there for the fish, but yeah, you'll go ahead and put some eyes right there, you know, some fish eyes. Put some fish eyes right there. But yeah, I tell you one thing, everybody, that whenever it comes to painting pictures, though, I'm like, you know, how many of us will maybe want to know too if you're trying to tell your kids the story of the duck right there, and let's just say if they're looking at the fish right there, and 102 that you know, what do you think the fish are doing? So you got right there, you got the fish right there, and then paint the detail right there. What do you think the fish are doing? Yeah, if you want to add some bubbles in there. So yeah, how many of us are really going to take the time to tell their kids a story that if you were to actually write in a story talking about the fish, or maybe about the little ducky or something like that. The little ducky was was swimming or something like that, and so you're going to be painting a picture right here, and yeah, you're going to be painting a picture right here. But let's just say that that picture right there is, you can say, go ahead and add some bubbles right there, but still, you know, how many of us would probably say that that becomes to be a distraction, doesn't it? But you know, anyway, so yeah, that so you have right here with the ducky right here, but you know, you go ahead and paint the duck right there, and let's just say that you know, you with that duck right there. But you know, how many of us are maybe 102 that what you're trying to do is you're trying to paint the duck is like, you know, the duck is supposed to be floating on water. It's supposed to be in the water, just like that right there. But how many of us you would say this toward it? That looks so cute whenever you actually see the feet, whenever you see the duck's feet right there, like in the water right there. I was thinking about that too, as to where that you talk about with the duck's feet right there. 102. But you see right here is talking about the story of the little ducky right here. And so it sure seems that way that when we do talk about, painting or drawing a picture of a duck, though, that, do we necessarily prefer that to where that whenever it comes to the duck right here, or if it's the geese or something like that, and anybody might say, yeah, you go ahead and paint the picture of the duck, you paint, you add a little bit of fish right there, but maybe not everybody's really going to understand what all that's for right there. And half the time, it's like if they're going to be painting the picture of the duck right there with its feet in the water, and 102, that you go ahead and paint the duck right there, and you show that right there to where you got the water right here, and then you got the feet right there along with the fish right there. So anybody's going to want to know too that, really, what is all that really supposed to mean right there whenever you draw that? And say that, you got the clouds right here, but, really, that could you add, a place where you call home right here? And in case if anybody's want to know too that, a place where you call home, if you want to include that in the sentence right there. So whenever you do think about that in 102, that a place where you call home, and so it's like you have the ducks right here, but half the time you 102 that you look at that right there, and you're 102 that you start drawing the pictures, and for sure that what is it going to remind you of? Is it going to remind you of a story, or is it going to remind you of maybe a dream that you had or something like that? But like everybody might say, you look at the duck right here and 102 that if it's supposed to be the marching duck or something like that, but everybody might say, you look at the ducks a lot of times, and a lot of times that you see that right there where you see the feet, you see the feet right there along with the fish right there. So if anybody's going to be drawing any pictures, and they're going to ask you that, please draw some feet, and draw the feet right there, and knowing that what does it usually mean that they got the feet in the water. And half the time you always want to know too that you're going to be looking at the ducklings, and 102 that why you pay attention to the feet too much at a time, and knowing that you got the beak right here and along with the feathers, but everybody might say that that you look at this right here, and you're 102 that you spend so much time making this a little bit more artistic right here, but you're thinking as to where, okay, that you look at the picture just like that, but then you want to go ahead and write a story right here. And that story right there, like maybe a poem or something like that, but you go ahead and write a story right there, and 102, a place where you call home. That home, that home could be for the season. So it sure seems that way that you go ahead and start out with a few sentences right here, right? And you're 102 that you go ahead and start out with some writing right here. But let's just say that if you go ahead and write on here, before the duck swam, to before that you swam to in the lake, the duck saw a frog or something like that. So it sure seems that way that whenever you do start writing the sentences right here, and you're wanting to know too that maybe just a little bit, like everybody might say that you go ahead and draw a picture right here, and you're wanting to know too that everybody might say that you go ahead and draw a picture of the duck right there, but everybody might say that yeah, a place where you call home especially. So if you were to be talking about that, then 102 that the story talks about ducks, little duckies, and yeah, and if I were to go ahead and put on here that when those ducks they are called what? And so really that so at the time that whenever you do start writing any paragraphs about the ducks or something like that, do you think it's kind of wise that if it's going to be little kids that are going to be looking at this in 102 that hey that you go ahead and tell a story at about this link right here in 102 that hey that you know yeah, do you get that? Do you get kind of what it says right there? But I'm like, well, really, that the way you think about that for sure, and you're 102 that you're 102 that hey that you go ahead and write in a few paragraphs or so, and you're 102 that hey that it's supposed to make a little bit more sense like that right there, but at the time that you weren't, or that why do you think that that maybe if you start out the sentence by you writing a full paragraph of a story or some kind, but then you want to end it off with the question, so at the time you always want to know too that why do you think that any children would maybe say that once upon a time, and they start telling you a story, right? And you always want to know too that why do you think that that maybe a full sentence right here is going to include a question mark? So like let's just say that you start telling the story right here, and somebody's going to say that you find that to be most common to where the kids are going to start telling them, yeah, they start telling a story, but then there's going to be a question right here. So it sure seems that way, that just being curious or something like that, but like everybody might say that, really, that half the time you want to know too that don't you think that the fish have a little bit more questions for the duck than then compared to the clouds or something like that. But on the other hand, that whenever you do think about that, and you're 102 that yeah, you go ahead and start drawing a picture of a duck right here, and thinking as toward okay, yeah, that what you were working on was you were actually trying to draw a picture of a duck right here, but before anybody really knew all the details about what the duck was doing and what the purpose was for the duck and what about the duck, that you go ahead and start telling the story, right? But let's just say that that story is going to include right here growing up right here. So any kids that might say that yeah, the ducks, the little ducky, whenever the little ducky grows up, and like the place where he calls home right here, and that's why it seems like that that when we do think about that, and 102 that yeah, it goes by the story, the poem, and so forth, saying right. But anyway, thanks for watching, everyone, and have a great day.